Welcome back to the revolution. I'm your host for the October Halloween videos. Welcome to Libra season. I have to tell you, there's a lot that has kept me from making these videos. And I have to be honest with myself about what it is. First, my eye was swollen, and it's still a little bit swollen. You could see it. And that's just my own using the wrong product. But then there was also, I had to admit to myself, something within me that was keeping me from doing them. And I realized what it is. I'm really comfortable with my place in the air trine. There is the storyteller. There is the one who takes the story, codifies it, and comes to great insight and evolves us as humanity because of the story and the insight that they are therefore able to have from the story that was told. And then there's the one that gathers everyone together by the fire so the story can be told. I love being the storyteller so much that I don't even know that I do it. I don't like being the gatherer at all. I don't like committees. I don't like meetings. I don't like showing up for things where groups of people are going to be together. I don't like weddings. I don't like connective things. I actually get very overwhelmed and need to be alone. So tapping into Libra energy is for me like touching a live wire. I can feel it in myself, how I'm almost like vibrating with the strength of it. There is such an external rush, cardinal beauty, cardinal Venus, outpouring. And I deny to myself all year that the reason Libras are the way they are is because they're pouring out all this love all the time. I like to think most of the time that they are the way they are because they're tolerant and friendly and they want to stay within the norms that they find so sacred. But it's during Libra season that I always have to confront the fact that indeed I am being cynical and that instead they are really motivated by love. As cheesy and unrealistic that may seem to someone who, let's say, was raised in New York City, or let's say friendliness means different things. You can be from any culture, but when you meet a Libra from any culture, the thing that strikes you right away is the open, symmetrical eyes, the willingness to hear you and really see you, even if it is just for the moment that you're in front of them. And that's, I think, where we run into problems with Libras is because they make us feel so good that then when they have to move on and connect with somebody else, we're really hurt because that's probably the best connection we ever had. So wait a minute, where are you going? Like, I want to have that all the time. And for a Libra, that's like all the time, just you. Okay, well, are you like super interesting and changeable and highly evolving? How do you evolve at a very high speed, and will you keep up? Can you keep up? Can you be emotionally strong enough for me to be out here in the world doing all the connecting with both genders, with all genders, with all sexuality? Can you keep up with how fluid I am? I have no problem taking a moment to readjust my crown. Never have. So, when your answer to that question, like I have answered in the past, is no, I can't keep up. I don't even know how to keep up. I'm not emotionally capable of being with a person who is this highly sociable. I can pull along for a little while, but I'm just going to be honest. Like, I can't do it. A lot of people find that they would really like to do it, but the Libra doesn't find them worthy or quick enough or smart enough or sophisticated enough or pretty enough or well-dressed enough. when you are all of those things, when you can check all those boxes effortlessly, you're always looking for that in another person, and you're not doing it to be mean. You're not doing it to be elitist. It's just what you know. Libras to me are the brother who has the really pretty sister. Guys who have really, really pretty sisters always marry really pretty girls if they're straight, because they're used to a certain standard of beauty just being normal. Like, they saw a really beautiful girl every day just walking around in their house, like, not in a sexual way. That's just where their standard of beauty is set. Like, that's pretty. Anything less than that is like, that girl's not even as pretty as my sister. You know, I don't know why that person who just said that had like a Desi accent like that. That's just my version of what guys are like. I think every guy in my mind is like a 20-year-old Desi guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So now you see, if you listen to the podcast, how my podcast life is starting to seep into my YouTube life, because I'm becoming so much more comfortable. Just talking the stories, telling the stories. I've started putting S's at the end of it. If you're not following along with my humor right now, please go watch the podcast, because if you're watching the podcast, then you'd be laughing. Okay, so there's that. This is also a symptom of Libra season. Very so connected that you follow 10 different streams at the same time, and it can seem very watered down and disconnected to people because you're going in so many different directions. And I would like to take most of the props that will be used for the Libra season videos to explain to you how to use Libra energy to manifest what you want in this gorgeous season. I mean, are you looking outside? Do you see what's happening to the light? If the light is beautiful in Virgo season, then the light is perfect in Libra season. Most things are very symmetrical and perfect in Libra season. Isn't there a thing about how most supermodels are Libras? This very symmetrical, very, very beautiful. And what do we find beautiful about it? The balance. The ability to be in the world and not be of it at the same time. The ability to talk and converse and do what you need to do and still be able to maintain a posture where you have two beauty queen crowns precariously placed on your head. Or, you know, the story of, you know, carrying the spoon of water through a beautiful, gorgeous mansion full of everything you ever want. And the point is to be able to enjoy the mansion and everything while still making sure that the water stays in the spoon. This is the Libra way of balance. What is balance? Balance is the Tao. Balance is the yin-yang symbol. Balance is everything. In a binary world, which is what we live in, balance is everything. Love Libras. I just had a family situation involving a Libra, in which my sister-in-law is the first and only person I called, and she's a Libra. And I think when people like got to the hospital or whatever, everyone was asking everybody else, oh, what happened and who found out first and whatever. And I was like, well, it was me, and I called, you know, my sister-in-law. And everyone kind of just looked at the both of us, and we're like standing there, you know, Gemini, Libra, like, you know, don't even front. Like, you want to make things happen, we're going to make things happen. Like, that's what it is, you know. So I have an unnatural affection for you guys because I love the Tao. I'm a great student of the Tao. Tai Chi is a part of my daily practice, right? So understanding balance is understanding life. And I think that when, as Libras, you start to get down on yourself because you feel imbalanced, just remember you are fighting the good fight. You are fighting the only fight, which is to find balance. Your body does it, nature does it, everything does it. And you do it so beautifully and so well 90% of the time. Now, this other 10%, when people are like, oh, excuse me, you're being so nice. They're flaky, they're this, they're changeable, they're two-faced, they'll say anything, they just opportunists, they want to get what they want, they're fake, they're shallow. Okay, let me explain to you what's going on. First of all, no, you're just stupid because you don't understand the highly nuanced mind of a cardinal air sign. Like, I don't know what you want. You know, it's cardinal air. Like, you want to breathe, right? So, like, you want atmosphere, right? Okay. So what do winds need to do to create that and keep that all going and make sure the water's warm enough? Everything, they have to go in many different directions, right? So if you have like this one track mind, everything is completely black and white mentality about stuff, you are going to think Libras are stupid that way, and you're going to think that they're inconsistent because you're not understanding the wide expanse of human interaction. People are different. You have to meet people where they are. Let me illustrate. I'm going to take off my glasses. So literally, Justice is blind. Perfect. I can see nothing. Let me show you, let me illustrate to you how Libra season can help you and how you can use what people will often say is a deficit in their personality to your benefit. First, you have to understand it. Then you can use it. So let's understand it. If you're bringing people to the fire, right? You have to go and meet people where they are to gather them to the fire. Why is gathering them to the fire important? Well, because if they don't all gather by the fire in the few hours between when it gets dark and you want to go to bed, there's going to be trouble. You want people kind of all sitting around together so the stuff that Virgo figured out, you can give it out to them, and the Gemini can keep everyone entertained. But how do you get them there? You have to meet people where they are, right? You have to meet people where they are. If someone is feeling like this, right? If someone is feeling like this, and you go to them like this, to the fire, and say, hey, come hang out at the fire, it's been so late, come on, come on, come on. And they're looking at you like this, you're not going to get them there. You get that, right? If somebody is like a child in the world, okay, and they're just a little kid, you know? If that's what they're about, is it going to work to meet them in sex kitten mode? You tell me. You see? You see what happens when you can't see? You fumble. You fumble over stuff that's not very important because you can't see those details, but that's good. We need to stay with that energy because that's Libra season. They're not disconnected. They're not being fake. But if you're here, right? If this is your persona, nobody who's here can meet you there. But what a Libra can do is that they will find the complement. So let's say you feel like this. Maybe they'll show up as the Day of the Dead like this. You see what I'm saying? Let's say you feel like one more cog in the system. Maybe they'll show up as the rebellion out of the system that you need. They come in to balance situations and meet people where they are, and then take them where they need to be. You see? It's not just about meeting people where they are and then that's it, because that's enabling, that's stagnant. Cancers do that, Pisces do that, Scorpios do that. It's about meeting them where they are and then taking them to a place where they will get better. And what's better? More informed. In a more social gathering, more interaction. Interaction breeds intelligence, right? Very like Aristotelian idea, but it's why freeze there? When you interact with people, you get smarter. Why are Libras so intelligent, so good at interacting? Because they interact in complement to where you are. First, they accept you where you are, okay? Justice, but not judgment. Do you understand? First, they accept you where you are. They see where you are. They meet you where you are, and then they complement you. Then they balance you out. Now, a lot of you were looking at that going, well, why can't they do that for themselves? They're some of the shakiest people. Well, because they're a tool. They're doing it for you. they oftentimes don't do it for themselves because they're too busy balancing everything else out. Like, it's actually kind of an unfair thing to say because they're being used all the time as this social tool. So, that's like working like all day and then having an hour a night to work on your thing, right? Like, for Libras, interaction is a job, and it's like the job of their life. They love it. They're all about it. It's not that they're not like complaining, or I'm not complaining for them, but it's more about if someone is so good at connecting all this stuff, if they are so good at being so creative and beautiful about how to meet people where they are, if they are so intuitively intelligent about how to compliment people, and their energy to heal them and move them along, then I think that we should be a little bit easier on them because they seem to get a pretty bad rap. From, especially on the channel, like I'll see like comments and stuff, it can get pretty mean. And I often wonder like, wow, they're the friendliest sign. Why do they get so much heat? And I think it's because there's let's say natural effervescence that comes with someone who's very good at communicating and connecting. And I think a lot of people envy that. Like I said it myself, I don't envy it, but I don't want it. But I can admire it and I can see it for the powerful force that it is, which is why I know I don't want it. It's just too much for me. I can't do it, but I can see it from afar and be like, wow. Now there are a lot of people who see it just like I do and are saying, wow, but they're, the way their brain translates, wow, I'm impressed by this thing, is wow, this person is fake or stupid or into their looks, or one of the many criticisms that we have written down that we will use against anyone who seems to care about anything aside from like, I don't know, like, I don't even know what it's appropriate to care about without being called shallow in some way. So, because if you're too much of an intellectual, then you're shallow because you only care because you want people to call you an intellectual. Like, there's no end to it. And Libras are often on the receiving end of this kind of really slicing, criticism. When you carry swords, live by the sword, die by the sword. So there is that also. And we'll get into that. So how do we tie this together to all of us, all the signs? Now that I've like done my love letter to the signs and now I don't understand why there's a bunch of like sawing going on outside. It's just, I don't know what it's been about this video. It's like everything wants to reach out at once, and I have been so like, okay, it's like a pool of electricity, and I'm like, okay, I know I gotta get in. But like this ability to put on mask after mask, to change. You would think that a Gemini would be super into that, and I think that we are if we're self-motivated and doing it for ourselves. But if we have to do it for the general public, we kind of get resentful and angry about it. But Libras love it. It's the complete opposite. They're enthused by it. So one of the things that you can do this season is that if you start to feel super overwhelmed by this energy, recognize that you're in a pool of electric social energy, and then perhaps just step out. And the way you're going to step out is you're going to put your phone on airplane mode. You're going to turn your appliances off. You're going to spend a day and a night basically going to sleep when it gets dark and get up when it gets light, and just give yourself that moment to get back on your light cycle, and then you can reconnect if you want. But Libra season means something completely different now that we have social media and phones and everything. Like, so you're taking a season that's meant to connect us all. Come on, let's get together by the fire. We have a lot to talk about. We have to prepare for the winter. We have to talk about what Virgo did and what they found out from what they did. We have a lot of data to crunch, and we have some real decisions that we have to make. And that is times a billion now with phones and social media and email and, the visual culture we live in. Instagram has turned us into a very visual culture, not that we weren't before, but more so now. So with Libra season, which is also about visuals and impressions and aesthetic, it's just times, a billion. And I think the airplane mode and going by the light cycle and just turning your lights off and going to bed, even though it's stupid and it's really early, I think it's a really good way to take a step out because you are going to want to. And the other thing you can do if you're in it and you're really happy about it and you're like, yay, it's Libra season, I'm so into it. The other thing you can do to avoid burning out is kind of like the way I had a friend who used to take a She used to drink Alka-Seltzer and water before she went out drinking. And I was always like, wow, like you're prepping to get sick or what's going on? She was like, no, it's preventative. Don't at me. I don't know if it's true or not. Please, it's not my domain. But what you can do is you can take your time away before it gets too overwhelming. Just as you know it's coming up and it's preventative. And I think that it may help you, because when you have so many different masks to wear and when everyone is going to be wearing so many different masks, it behooves you to remember also who you are. And that's the thing that, Libras can get lost. And we'll talk about that in the Libra video, where if you do this enough with people, right? Oh, is this how you feel? Oh, what about this mask is just going to give me trouble. Oh, what about this? Is this how you actually feel? Or is this what's going on with you? Like, when you do that enough, yes, you're helping a lot of people. Yes, you're bringing everyone to the fire. But I wonder if that ancient, archetype that we're talking about, once they were done bringing everyone to the fire, I wonder what they did. Because every Libra I know has this secret vice of some sort. Either they love to eat sweet stuff or overeat, or they like to binge drink on their own, or they love to do other drugs on their own, or they love to, they have this secret, really tempestuous, adulterous other life. Like, there's always some secret thing, and I've always understood it because I feel like they need it to blow off steam, because like I said, they are working, they're on the clock all the time, because we're social animals, and they're the social sign, so they are always on call. And as you will see with surgeons and other air traffic control, like other people who are like always on call like that, they have these extravagant sort of vices usually that are meant to, or they aren't meant to, they're not designed to, but they happen to be things that are as they're complementary in their extremeness, in their extremity, right? Like, so always on socially, like bringing people together, being nice, being helpful, getting it all done, always just. And then so to be that connected, like I said, stepping into that pool of electricity, to be that connected, you also need the relaxing stuff to be that, like, on that same level of power, of intensity. So you may find yourself really, rocking this month, like going from, I don't want to be around anybody, I'm good, I'm going to leave that airplane mode thing all month, to, oh my God, I don't have any friends. Wait, I want to hang out with everybody. I want to do everything. Oh my God, I'm really tired. I'm really exhausted. So, when that happens with Libras, they have this secret outlet that they go to blow off steam. And I don't think you should develop that habit this month if you don't already have it. And the way to do that, like I said, is to take constructive, let the air out of the pressure cooker way before it starts to whistle, a little, before that urge within you is angry and becomes lustful, because that's the thing about Libras. If they don't get what they want, they can become a bit amoral, ironically, right, with the justice thing. But that's the thing, everyone is the thing and the flip of the thing. So when feeling mistreated, when feeling unwanted, when feeling underappreciated, when feeling wronged, they can also wrong greatly. So to avoid all of this, I think it's important to not even let it get that far. It is a season where everything is going to be outward. It is a season where you're going to want to control the flow and be around lots of people. But I assure you that you will get exhausted, because like Leo season, we're not Libras, we're just in Libra season, and we don't have the capacity really to handle this like they do. So we need to take our breaks and tap out, and not try to like compete with people who are like thoroughbreds at this. Like, let them do it. And find your place somewhere in there of being social and going out and doing the fun things, because it is Libra season. Everyone's going to be out. But also don't get so lost in all these different faces and all these different things that you forget that underneath all that is that person that gathers everyone at the fire and then goes and sits alone for a minute and is like, okay, I remember who I am. I am also a thing that has needs, and I also have a fire. Right? So my eye is kind of bothering me, so I'm gonna go. Also, this strange, brutal honesty. The videos are going to be so fun. I'm so excited about them. I am buzzing with Libra energy. I am a little bit uncomfortable with it, but being friendly never killed nobody, so I'll go with it. My like dry Libra Virgo moon doesn't appreciate it, to be honest, but everything else about me does. So I will go with it. I feel the overwhelming emotions also. And the only thing I will say about that is that those quiet moments are not just for remembering who you are, they're for releasing. So if you need to, Libra season is a crying season of sorts. If you need to, you know, I'm not trying to make you cry right now, but if you need to, go for it. Go for it. It's not going to hurt anything. Get it out. Express yourself. And then just, you know, be a Libra and the next day act like it didn't happen. Because it's no big deal. Okay? I love you guys. I will take care of this. And I will see you in the videos.